In part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking exam, you will be given 3 pictures. Your job is to talk about 2 of the images for 1 minute, answering 2 questions about each image. And this can feel overwhelming. It's quite an unnatural thing to do. So, to help you, I'm going to show you 5 fantastic examples, and then I'm going to explain why they're fantastic. Doesn't that sound great? Ow, yay! Whatever. Oh God, let's go. Monica, here are your pictures. They show people on holiday. I would like you to talk about 2 of the pictures and say why people might decide to go on holiday in these ways and how you think the people might be feeling on holiday. All right? Okay, so I'm going to talk about the people trekking and the woman on the beach. I think someone may decide to go trekking in nature because, well, they like nature, obviously. They might want to get away from big cities, or they may be trying to push themselves out of their comfort zones or something. I don't know. I think they might be feeling at peace, even though they're probably physically exhausted. They could also feel scared, like there could be wild animals that want to eat them or something. Oh my God. Relaxing on the beach is completely different. Like, I think people decide to go on holidays like this because they want to do nothing. Like, I personally prefer this kind of holiday, and if I were in their situation, I'd be feeling great. So I guess she does too. How is that, Mr. Toby? Let's have a look at why Monica's answer here was absolutely fantastic. Monica's 2 questions required her to speculate about the present, and to do this, Monica used modal verbs of deduction, like this. Also, notice how Monica only answered the questions. She did not waste time describing the pictures. Remember, for part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking exam, you don't need to describe any pictures, so please do not waste time describing the pictures. Oh, Monica also used a second conditional, and this is actually a really good exam strategy. You could do this too, because it personalizes the question. Obviously, you don't know how these people are feeling. You don't know why these people decided to go on holiday. But you could answer by saying, if I were them, I would be feeling. Or if I had to decide where to go on holiday, I would choose here because... It's another way of speculating without repeating modal verbs like might, could, may, and must. So, that was a great answer. Let's do another one. Duke, here are your pictures. They show people concentrating. I would like you to talk about 2 of the pictures and say why it is important to concentrate in these situations and how difficult it might be to maintain concentration. All right?
Okay, so I will talk about the man driving and the people at the lecture taking notes. Is that okay? Okay. Obviously, it is very important to concentrate while you're driving. If you don't concentrate, you could crash and die, and that would be terrible. I have never driven a car before because I'm not a functioning human being. That's what my mother tells me. But if I had to guess, I would say it's difficult to concentrate if you're stressed or if you're listening to music. At a lecture, on the other hand, it's important to concentrate because there might be an exam on the topic or something. I reckon it could be difficult to concentrate if other people are talking, but also the topic could be really boring and then it would be hard. Like, I know I find it hard to concentrate in an environment like this, so yeah, that's why I never went to university.
Again, this was a good answer. Notice Duke's use of a conditional to talk about what the consequences might be of not concentrating when driving. Again, this answer had nothing to do with the images themselves, but with driving as a concept. Again, don't describe the pictures. Focus on the concept that the pictures are representing. And of course, Duke used modals to speculate. Seriously, if you are doing part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking exam and you don't use a single modal verb, then we've got a problem. Examiners are seriously looking for it. Oh yeah, and before we continue, let's have a look at another picture that I find absolutely marvelous. Someone sent me this. I mean, look at it. It's fantastic. And it's also, I don't know, when I started this channel 5 years ago, I wasn't expecting to receive something like this. So honestly, I'm honored and thank you.
But why am I not in the picture?
That's obvious, Duke. It's because you're ugly and no one likes you.
Oh, yeah. Good point, Monica.
But I look totally cute in this picture, by the way, so thank you, even though it's impossible to draw me and it not be cute, because I'm Monica, duh! Okay then, let's do another one. Bruce, here are your pictures. They show people playing instruments in different situations. I would like you to talk about 2 of the pictures and say why the people might be playing an instrument in these situations and how enjoyable you think these situations might be. All right?
I'll talk about the first picture and the last picture. So in the first picture, I think this person might be, what's the word? He's playing music, but in a public place for people in the streets. He might be doing this to get money, but he could have decided to do this for fun or for practice or something. If he did this for fun, then he obviously thinks that this situation is enjoyable, but it could also be a bit nerve-wracking, I guess, yeah. Well, in the third picture, the kid could be playing the piano because his parents have made him. Excuse me. I know a lot of kids these days learn an instrument because their parents want them to. If this is the case, then it's probably not very enjoyable. But if he's learning the piano because he is passionate about it, then yeah, I suppose this would be an enjoyable situation. Is that all right?
Notice how in this example, Bruce forgot an important piece of vocabulary. What is the person in the picture doing? They are busking. However, is Bruce going to lose marks for not knowing the word busking? No, absolutely not. The Cambridge examiners do not expect you to know every single word in the world because that is literally impossible. However, what they do pay attention to is how you deal with things like this. Seriously, I've seen this happen so many times. In part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking Exam, a student will have a word on the tip of their tongue, but they can't quite remember it. 1 second passes, 2 seconds pass, 3 seconds pass. Before you know it, 10 seconds have passed and the student is still looking for the word. That is a terrible waste of time. It's a huge hesitation and you will lose marks if you do that. So remember, if you cannot remember a word, you're not going to be marked down for not remembering the word, but you will be marked down if you deal with the situation poorly. Explain the concept and move on. Monica, here are your pictures. They show people being creative. I would like you to talk about 2 of the pictures and say how important it might be to be creative in these situations and what might the consequences be of making a mistake. All right? I'll talk about the person painting and the man writing. So it's totally important to be creative when painting. In this image, the person doesn't seem to be painting exactly what they can see. So it's like they're adding their own creative touch, their own sparkle, if you know what I mean, to the picture. And I think that's totally awesome, actually. And, I don't know if making a mistake here is so important because making mistakes could be a part of the creative process. So yeah, I think the consequences of making a mistake could even be positive here, actually. As for the man writing, it depends on what he is writing. If he is copying something, then it's important to not be creative. But if he is writing a story, then yeah, he must be creative. And when it comes to making mistakes, again, it depends why he's writing. But I think spelling and grammar mistakes could ruin the message he's trying to get across. Thank you.
What? Oh my God, Mr. Toby, this is so unfair. I haven't even finished.
Here, the examiner stopped Monica before she had finished. And the examiner did this because Monica's 1 minute had finished. But in this situation, it did not matter, because Monica had already answered both questions about both of the pictures.
Oh my god, thank goodness. Mr. Toby, I was so anxious. I was totally gonna have a panic attack.
However, this would have been a problem if Monica hadn't answered both questions about both pictures. Remember, try to give yourselves about 15 seconds for each question. So that's 30 seconds per picture. If you do that, you'll be fine. And how can you track time in your head in this way? Well, practice. Take your phone out, turn on your stopwatch, and have a great time. That's how I spend my free time. It literally is. That's literally what I'm doing right now in my free time. So you may laugh, but I really am. That's sad. Oh yeah, you may also have noticed that in this example, Monica did describe the picture a little bit. However, she wasn't describing the picture for fun. Instead, she was giving a brief description of what she could see to justify her answer. So that's okay. If you're describing the image to support your answering of the question, then that's cool. All right, you can do that. Just don't start talking about someone having blonde hair and wearing a shirt or something like that, because yeah, that's great if you're taking a B1 exam. But you're not, you're taking the C1 exam. Goodbye. And Duke, here are your pictures. They show situations in which safety might be important. I'd like you to talk about two of the pictures and say why safety might be important in these situations, and how careful the people in the images might need to be. All right?
Okay, so I'll talk about the plane and the construction work. So safety is important on a plane because it could crash again. So the people in charge, like the pilots, really need to make sure that everything is working properly and that they are following safety procedures and not distracted, which could be hard if there are sexy women on the plane. But in the picture, I can only see passengers, and I do not think these people need to be that careful. They might need to make sure that they wear seatbelts and stuff, but that's it. On a construction site, I think safety is important because it would be easy to fall off the scaffolding. Also, they'll probably need to handle dangerous equipment, which could be risky, you know. So safety would be important for that as well. I think the workers then need to be really careful and will need to wear safety equipment to protect them. Otherwise, they could get injured.
Ooh, yes, that was very good. Okay, we did it.
Okay, can I go?
Yes, of course. You can go. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, finally. I've got a Tinder date waiting for me. Ciao, ciao.
See you later.
Can I stay?
No, Duke, of course you can't. Go away. Ugh.
Oh, of course, yes. Okay, bye then.
And there we have it. Those were 5 fantastic examples of what you should do in part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking exam. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment down below. My name is Toby, and this was Smash English.